Hello and welcome. How are you all? Thank you for joining us. Oh, only 8 of you here at the moment. Hopefully some more will jump on. We had a bit of a mix up with the time, but I don't know what happened. I didn't touch it, and it went back 2 hours. So
I think I know who the culprit is.
Right?
I think Bernie was taking the blame earlier. How you doing, John?
Yeah. Well, let's blame Bernie. Actually, he's the only one that had access, so I'm going to blame Bernie. I think Bernie.
He actually took the blame earlier.
Yeah. If he's willing, I'll dump more on him. Yes. How you going? Welcome. We have Stuff Beagle here. We're going to talk Mudflood. And of course, the link for Stuff Beagle channel is in the description. So do go across, check it out, give him a subscribe, a like, all that good stuff, share it around. Because I mean, you do some really good stuff, and I mean, you really need a bigger channel. Because as far as I'm aware, it was you that sort of came across the Viaducts and the prism lighting or pavement lighting glass stuff. And they're two really, really big things. And of course, you're still going down, looking into the Mudflood, which is, it's kind of been left sort of behind, left in the mud, in the dust a bit, hasn't it, over the last sort of 6 months to a year? Everyone's sort of going off in different directions. So it'll be good to get back into it. So welcome, and welcome everyone in chat. Thank you all for being here. Sayonara, how are you going from North Carolina? There you go. We've got a fellow North Carolinian. Is that how I say it?
Yeah, sure is.
Sayonara.
Who's from North Carolina?
Hello, Random Granny. Hello.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. I should put it up. There it is on screen. Joe Cool, Mr. Jelly, Peg's Place, Estelle Larson, Three Fingers. Hello. Natasha, Mr. Jelly, Henry. Hello. Mustang. I'm going to call you Mustang. GT 1982 Mustang. Wow. Suzette, I'm Jolly, CJDB, Static Break, Truth Seeker, Alex, Lady Tent. And now I take a breath. All right, so 75 of you watching. Thank you all for being here.
Oh, wow.
And I'm back again. I was actually live about 2 hours ago. So
yeah, I caught that. That was great.
Sonia's just jumped in. Yeah. It was good. Had a chat with Paul, who's doing, he's doing really good work, and he's going to be moving back to Malta. And he's kind of leading the charge with the boots on the ground at the moment. You know, he's like, he's made his own,
he's moving back. I thought he was
right?
going back to visit.
I'm pretty sure he's moving back. I tried to confirm it about 3 times, but we had a big lag issue going on, and then he disappeared. But I'm pretty sure he's moving back, because because he was living there. And I mean, you know, where would you live? Malta or, you know, England?
I think Malta for him would be really cool. Yeah, I thought he was just going back to do research. I misunderstood. I was really interested
pretty sure
in that.
He's moving back.
Called that arc thing he found, Mercury arc regulator.
The Mercury arc. Yes.
What was that called?
Duvahiki.
I looked it up earlier. Incredible. Really cool.
Anyone in chat, what is it? The Mercury arc. It's like reactor or something, but I want to say vector, but it's definitely not vector. But
no.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, and that was just sitting in a building, right? That was in Malta, just sitting there.
Some
like
sort of film projector stuff. I don't know. I've never heard of or seen anything like that. So I don't know.
He did put a video out on about a year ago, where I think he explained how it worked and what it was, but I can't remember at this point.
That was a year. See, I never saw that video. So when he started talking about it, I didn't know what he was talking about. That was really cool.
Yeah. He went through a stage about a year ago. Yeah, where he went through a lot of the the popular mechanics magazines that they used to have around the early 1900s. They were like the mechanics, you know, they sort of started off, I think, as farmers sort of fix it yourself, and then they turn into popular mechanics, and they had the ads for all the popular sort of, you know, tech, and he found so much stuff in, and he found a book where it teaches you how to make your own like little Van de Graaff generators and things, and like, you know, make your own electricity and make your own batteries, and it was for teenagers back in like 1900.
Wow.
So they tell us we're evolving, but
I have a ton of
now we have
catalogs.
people. I saw it. Yeah,
there's Bernie.
They're gold.
Oh, yeah, I've got a bunch of catalogs.
Those
old catalogs. They were the old catalogs where they would sell the products for like the construction and things like that. I've got a lot of those, and there's a lot of detail in those things. Very cool.
Yeah. Well, the thing about those as well is they probably haven't been, you know, like Bernard, right? Like as restricted as much as the books, because they're just kind of magazines. And I guess if you can still find them, most of them, you know, when they go through and censor everything, they probably aren't thinking about magazines. You know, they're going to the libraries and stuff and getting the books. So they're great.
My theory on it is that these catalogs are the let's say you wanted to buy a pavement light, they put it in a catalog, and my theory is that stuff like the ether phenyls they have in there too, and I think what they were trying to do is cover their tracks and say, look, you could buy them in this catalog, and in reality they were already there, but they made these catalogs in order to make it look like they had manufacturers for them. So I have the catalogs with the actual ether phenyls in them. And you know those things were there. So
yeah, good point. So where are you sitting? What's your backdrop there? Is that like under a viaduct? Looks like it's got a roof on it.
That is a viaduct. That is an actual viaduct that is still there today. It is called the Atlanta Underground. And what you were looking at is you were literally looking at the old world and the new world at the same time. On the side over here, you have the buildings that are still underground with the facades and the doors and the windows. And then over here, you have the new viaduct that's covering it up. And this is just one of the levels. It goes down.
Wow.
So the viaducts are very important.
All right. Well, that's probably a very good segue. Should we get in and have some looks, and we'll jump into viaducts, and you can kind of explain what they are, and
okay.
You've got the floor.
All right, we'll do it. I'll share screen and see what we can get into here. Let me know when you see that.
Oh, hang on, I've got to add it. There we go.
Have you got
give it on the big screen? Yep.
Okay, you got it?
We've got the old street with the fence in it. Yep.
Okay, so what we have here is an old street, and this street looks like any street in any town, in any, you know, city, in any world, in any country around the world. It looks very normal. You have buildings on the left, you have buildings on the right, you have sidewalks on the left, you have sidewalks on the right, you have a street in the middle, you have cars on it, you can see trolley lines here in the middle. Everything looks normal. Would you agree?
It does.
Okay, you got street lights, but this is anything but normal. This is a viaduct in Atlanta, in Atlanta, Georgia, while under construction.
Oh, wow. Wow.
This is
that's what a
viaduct is. It is a raised platform, and on top, it looks like a regular street with sidewalks and trolley lines and street lights, and it looks like the side of the building, but below are arched doors and windows and streets and train tracks, the whole 9 yards. Now,
wow.
let me switch to a different image. Have you got a different image up there?
Yep, we got the city. Yep.
Okay. This is Atlanta, Georgia, and this is in 1929. They started covering over the downtown area in Atlanta in the 1920s, and you can still see in these images where the viaducts before they covered it up. Today, this is covered up here. This is a viaduct here. This is a viaduct here. This is a viaduct. Over here is a viaduct. This whole street, viaduct here. And today, this is covered over with also a viaduct. The entire downtown core is covered in viaducts. This is like a postcard kind of thing, and it says here, Atlanta reconnected by viaducts. The first and second floors will become forgotten about until the 1970 entertainment complex was built, and what they're talking about is the Atlanta Underground. And in this photo, you can see, it's not a very good photo, but the viaduct is right here, and here, and here, and this is all viaduct here. Now, today, this is all covered over. Everything's covered over, okay? Here's another one. This is a long viaduct coming into the city, and now today, this is all covered over. It's all one level. This is a map of downtown Atlanta, and as I was doing my research for this, I traced the viaducts to a certain extent. I have more work to do, but the red lines here now are actual confirmed viaducts, and the blue circles here, they indicate where the viaducts start to go up onto the viaduct. So you have a normal road down here, and it goes up into the viaduct. All the red lines are viaduct. Okay, this is the downtown core, and what they call the Atlanta Underground is only this portion right here. But all of this has underground. And from my research, it's showing that all of this is also underground. Go ahead.
So the Atlanta Underground, that's like where you walk underneath the street, like the picture behind you kind of thing, is that?
Correct. And I'll show you more pictures of that.
Like a tourist sort of place.
Okay. It's a entertainment and shopping complex underground, and it's a tourist destination. And it's right now it's kind of in limbo. They've had it's I think it's closed down at this point. It's gone out of fashion. But I'll show you more of that a little bit later. This is in 1905, and the official history says that they started building the viaducts in the 1920s, but you can clearly see that this is a viaduct here, and they're installing it already, and you can see the doors and the windows below ground here. All of this today is covered over. This is a major street, and this is what it would look like today. It would look like a normal everyday street. But what is under there is an entire covered over city center. This is also Atlanta. This is the 5 Points area. And this is the viaduct here. The flat part here with the trolleys, that is the raised viaduct. Okay. This is the viaducts in construction. The original mile marker for Atlanta is right here. it's kind of hard to see what's going on, but this is while they're doing the construction of the viaducts, and you can see right here, Viaducts, Atlanta Viaducts. This is also construction.
In the 20s and 30s, pretty much they were doing this.
Yeah, the official history says in the 1920s they started this, but I found it goes back further. I think they were already doing it, and then they had to come out with it. This is
it's a weird story that because because you hear it like in many cities that they forgot about it. Right?
Yeah.
So they do it in the 1920s, and 50 years later, by the 1970s, no one knows that it was there. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's a forgotten history.
Every kid in the city would know it.
It is definitely not
literally covered up, eh?
Yeah, they literally covered over the city. This is the viaducts in construction as well. All of this right here, what you're looking at, this whole level right here. Matter of fact, it's kind of hard to see, but there is a viaduct I-beam or the posts that go up. That's what these things are right here. So the new level is up here. So the new first floor, what you see today, is up here. This is all underneath the ground now. It's still there. This is a viaduct, and this is in the middle of construction, where they started with going one way with the roads and then came back the other way. Everything you see here now today is covered over at this level here. This is the street level today. All of this that you see right here is still there today underground, and nobody knows it. It's all covered over, but it's still there. Go ahead.
It's just insane. I mean, I obviously, I knew about them. I've watched your stuff, but I never knew that they were so extensive, like that they were covering whole cities. I mean, that's a lot of work, right, and a lot of resources, and it's a certain level of tech as well to literally build a raised road and then have trams and stuff running on it and power and I mean, and they want us to believe they did all this in the 20s or 30s, and probably within a couple of years, no doubt. It seems a little unlikely.
Yeah, I think they started it much earlier than they tell us, because it's just a ton of work. Astronomical amounts of work. This is a viaduct here that,
of course, you've only looked in a certain amount of cities, right? They could be everywhere. Sorry.
I keep finding them. I'm going to show you a new one that I found yesterday, researching. So you can see right down here as this now today. See here, it's flat, and here it's flat. All of this is viaduct, but today this over here is viaduct. So now this is a street. This is in the middle of construction.
Oh my gosh, what's that?
That is a viaduct right there.
Oh, okay.
All of this.
Yep.
See this.
So that's where it's coming down to join the road, kind of thing.
This joined to this section here is actually covered over, and you can see they're covering up the building right there.
Yeah.
And this is the new first level.
Yeah.
And all of this is covered over now.
So when this happened, so many people would have lost their houses or half their houses, their businesses, all this stuff. I mean, and then that's on top of like community amenities. Is that the word? They would have lost so much stuff, but what? Then everyone just doesn't remember it. Like no one's grandma says, "Oh, when I was a girl, we lost our bottom 2 stories to the, because they built a viaduct." I mean, there's no way that all that information would not be passed on. That doesn't make sense at all to me, because that's a massive event. It's a massive event.
Well, I mean, I'll give you my short answer right now is that my research is pointing to in around 1943 they basically changed the matrix, and it's a simulation that we live in, and that they changed it, and we never noticed nothing. So
Yes,
that's a whole
well,
nother
I mean,
story.
and then we might have to have you back. I know we might have to have you back to get into that one. But I mean, my sort of, my research is kind of honing in on that kind of date as well, to tell you the truth, that
Yep.
kind of time period, and it looks like, exactly like the book, right, Big Brother. 1984, where they retroactively change things. They go back
Right.
and like you were saying, that in the present they print all these magazines and date them 1900 and release. Oh no, we have that tech.
Yeah, but if you remember the book, that's one of my favorite books. If you remember, they actually changed history in mid speech. He would begin the speech, and they would be at war with one country, and then in the middle of the speech, they changed what country they were at war with, and then they changed all the banners and the propaganda all during the speech. They did it real time
During the speech, and no one realized. No, it was bizarre.
This is a modern picture off of Google, and you can see off the side of the road, still underneath the viaducts here, where they've done some construction. This is a modern picture where you can still see the edge, and this is how you start finding out if you're in a viaduct city, is you look at the edges, and I'll explain how you do that later. This is a Google Earth shot, and you can see this is a viaduct here, and it comes into the city. There's one back here too. This is what's called the Gulch. This is about a 4-story viaduct underneath Atlanta, Georgia. And it's massive.
Wow.
So the point is that up here is the viaduct. This is street level. This is the actual level of the entire city, and this is below it. Still to this day. This is a viaduct here. This is a viaduct. Okay.
I just can't believe the amount of iron that must have gone into that, because they're pouring roads on top of, like, just there. Look how many girders they need.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, and
because
why there's not more records of this, I don't know. There's this is
where did all this iron come
from? This is a news article where they were talking about the reopening of one of the viaducts to traffic, because they had it closed down while they were building it. This is a viaduct here, and this is all covered over now, the open areas here. So look at this. I mean, that is, can you believe they covered that up? It's crazy.
I know. So this is, I mean, this is why in a lot of these cities we get the windows, for starters, right, cut through the middle, and all these lower levels and basements. I think some of them, are probably in the mud, but clearly not all of them. Clearly a lot of it, they're empty underneath. It's all viaduct. And,
yeah, I think in the bigger cities you're going to find this. This right here is what's called the Berkeley Plan. The official story says that they decided that they tried to put in this thing called the Berkeley Plan. There's a wiki page right here that talks about it, and basically the idea was that they were going to make this area here in downtown Atlanta, but they decided against it. And if you get down in the bottom of the article, they actually say, following the rejection of the Plaza Plan, Atlanta mayor created a commission to study the creation of viaducts in Atlanta. This led to the creation of numerous viaducts of Atlanta throughout the 1920s. So they didn't do that plan, but that was talked about before. This is talking about the Berkeley Plan. So newspaper, a dream that must come true. All right, let me see what else we got.
Wow.
Okay, this is an old postcard. This is a viaduct after it was installed. This is off a bird's eye view map, and you can see the viaduct right here. All this, what you're seeing here, right here, is now raised to the viaduct level. This is a train going underneath the viaduct through downtown Atlanta. This is, everything you're seeing here is a viaduct. The entire downtown core is a viaduct. Here is the top of a viaduct, and on the right-hand side, you can barely make out the below-ground area of the viaduct before they covered it over with a street. This is on Peachtree Street, which is a major street in Atlanta, Georgia. The major street. This is a viaduct where now the trains still run underneath the city of Atlanta. And you can see all these viaducts going here, but now
so
all
like
this
it's
is
an
covered
underground
over.
now, is it? So
This
like
is all covered over
like,
now. Every bit of this
yeah.
is covered over.
So the whole train system is an underground system. That's interesting.
Right. Well, they run the subway and they run the subway and the trains under there. This is below. This is above.
Thank you very much, Morgan. Very much appreciated.
Okay.
Holy dooly.
Let me close out some of these just to clean up a bit. This is a photograph of one of the shops that was covered over. Now the street level is up here, but this is an old world shop that was covered over. There is graded underground right here and here and here. So these would have been going into windows below the ground level. So this city was mud flooded, and then they covered over that to get rid of the mud flood, to hide it. And this is still there underneath the ground. It's still there today. This is the top of what the Atlanta Underground is to the right here. And everything you're looking at here is a viaduct. It looks like a normal city street, but you are on a platform. It's not on the ground. This is underneath at the Atlanta Underground. The top here is the viaduct, and they have covered it in concrete to hide it. They've also covered the pillars, and then they leave the walls here are the old world, and the cobblestone street is the old street. Here's another view. You can see old shop fronts. Some of them are older than some of them were modernized, but as like right here, you can see the facades right here, over here, and it still has the cobblestone brick road installed. That is the original street that was there. Now this is not this is the level of mud flood. Okay, this is really important. What you're looking at here is not the original level. If you notice right here, there's stairs going down.
Oh, wow.
So you're already one level below, and it goes deeper. Okay, that's same place.
But that's ground level in inverted commas, as far as that's on dirt, that level.
After the mud flood, this was the level of the ground right here, where this sidewalk and road are. There's original facading. Here is these are original street lights, the gas lights. You can see a drop down into windows and doors below ground right here, so you know it goes down below there. There is the picture that's behind me. This is the colorized version. These are original street lights. This is the original road, the original sidewalk, the original facade, all underground. This is a restaurant called, this was a famous restaurant called Down the Hatch. And this right here is the level you were just looking at. The viaduct is right here. This is the Mudflood level, and then the original level goes down. And that there is
so
history. I'm trying to confirm that there was
level?
a full-sized replica of a not a full size, but a very, very large replica of a pirate ship inside down below. I have pictures of it, but I'm trying to confirm it. This is a map of the Atlanta Underground that I was just showing you pictures of. This is the only area you were looking at right here, but all of this is the same way, but nobody knows it. This is that same storefront I showed you before, the storefronts of Atlanta Underground before they became underground, after the construction of a series of viaducts. This is an exposed area of the Atlanta Underground. This level here is modern day street level. This is Mudflood level here. These have obviously been brutalist facaded, but this is the viaduct right here. This is underground Atlanta, viaduct, street level, original lamps. Same thing here. This is a souvenir shop, and this is windows and doors below ground. So he is standing on Mudflood level, but it goes below him. These are original shop windows that were on Mudflood level. Now this is Mudflood level. It goes another level below this at least. We don't know how far it goes below. This is a better shot of the place where the souvenir shop was, and you can see the windows and doors a little bit better, even though it's not a real good picture, but this is the viaduct up here. This is an amazing shot. This is the viaduct is up here on the right-hand side, this dark area, and this was covered over by the viaduct. The top of the viaduct is right here. It's been attached at the edge of the building. All this is below downtown Atlanta now. This is the original store front sides, and this one right here is 2 stories. And you can see they've put stairs to go up and down temporarily before they covered it over. And you can see the detail up here and the quality. I mean, it's just why. That's downtown. That's Atlanta. It's insanity. It's absolute insanity, isn't it? This is the same shot I showed you earlier, different angle. This is that same shot, but it's a little different picture. That's the viaduct up there. This is the down the hatch. This is a more modern picture because they left and then came back. So it's been a little bit modernized, and you can see the background of the underground Atlanta. Okay, let's see what else I got. Okay,
I mean, because I'm in Perth, obviously, and in Perth we used to have a nightclub called the Underground, and I'm pretty sure almost every city in the world has like a club or a pub that's called the Underground that's underground.
Yeah. I'm finding those more and more.
We know why, right? Because
this is some diagram. I've got some diagrams explaining the viaducts. This is the construction of them and the idea of how they're constructed. And you see, you have the ground level up here, and then they make the ground level flat. They regrade it, but the ground underneath is all different kinds of shapes. This is the Wikipedia page for Viaducts of Atlanta, if you'd like more information on that. This is confirmed down. This is the official streets that they say are viaducts, but there's a lot more than this. They give you some, but they don't give it all to you. Here's some information about the viaducts, the Atlanta Underground here. This is about the Gulch in Atlanta. That's the 40-foot viaduct area. This is about the Atlanta Underground. So there's this information out there that you can go find. I'm just, kind of throwing it at you. Here's a web page that talks about the Atlanta Underground. Let's see, Atlanta, Georgia. The underground represents the original surface level of downtown Atlanta. For the present streets are raised roadways, viaducts built in the 1920s. The shopping center underground Atlanta, taking advantage of the former street level storefronts, covers 6 blocks and includes retail, shopping, restaurants. It was begun in 1968 and reopened in 1989 after a financial forced closure, and it's now closed again. Here's some information about what they were talking about when they were talking about building the viaducts. Some cost and things here. Viaducts including approaches, total 700 7,500,000.
7 million?
Yeah, 7,500,000. That was in 1920. This is, let me show you this first. This was a plan that they wanted to implement but didn't. They wanted to have moving sidewalk system underneath Atlanta. And you see, this is the modern street level. And this is, they wanted to make these moving sidewalks. And this is the mechanism, the blueprint operation for it. And the idea was that you had 3 platforms, one here, one here, one here. This one had a seat. This is the fastest moving one. And you would go faster and faster each platform you got onto. And sees City of Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Okay. These are some diagrams of viaduct bases. Now these are larger. There's different kinds of viaducts. Like this would be for more like a train. But they're important to also study those. This is kind of a diagram of how a viaduct would look if you're looking at it from straight on. This is a great example of a viaduct, how this is the viaduct here, and you have the ground high here and high here, and it can be any kind of shape in between. And then you see this is what Atlanta, Georgia looks like. This is ground level today, this modern street level, and this is what's underneath.
So why do you think they built them? Is this, well, clearly that they're post Mudflood. Is it just to, and that's the story, isn't it? That they just wanted to flatten everything out. What do you think about that?
That is the, I'm going to stop share. I've got more to share on that, but the idea being that they wanted to, the roads were going up and down. Okay. And if you know anything about, road construction and moving cars and vehicles around, that's a pain in the butt. So they wanted to level the street level and regrade it to a flat plane. And so they came up with this viaduct idea. And so now they have that. If you think about it, if you're in a downtown area and you see absolutely flat streets all around, there's something strange about that. How did those streets get so flat? Because ground goes, it moves, it goes up, it goes down, it has hills, and it's uneven. Okay, we think today, oh well, they just graded that. But what I'm telling you is that is true in some cases, but in others, it's a viaduct. And it's extensive.
Really?
So I'm going to share some more.
That's what gets me, is the scale of it.
The scale is incredible.
The scale, because that's just one city we've been looking at. If they were doing this everywhere, it's just because this is, well, they say it's modern, right? within 100 years ago. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
huge. And this would have been going on all over the place, but no stories of it anywhere. No stories of people losing their businesses or their houses to the viaduct, and, you know, no
Right.
stories of, you know, displacement and, you know, lack of housing, you know, or anything like that. It's just, and then the kicker is, you know, oh, they forgot about it and found it 50 years later. I mean, that's just a silly story.
It is. It really is. Let me know when you see this. You're going to have Google Earth.
All right. Oh, hang on. Yep. There we go.
Okay, this is Atlanta, Georgia. What you're looking at is Google Earth, and you have the Atlanta Underground area is the area in the center of your screen. Peachtree Street is right here. That's a major city street. Everything you're looking here is a viaduct. Okay, and the way that I found this is that I was looking into the Atlanta Underground, and I realized that there was something very weird about that. And so I looked at, well, if you've got this area that is really flat, okay, and it's a viaduct, right? And then I started looking around, and I realized that everything is that flatness. Okay. So then I wondered, well, where does the flatness end? So what you do is you have to go to the edges. And what they do is they bring it in on the edges of the city, and they gradually raise it up so you don't notice. So right here is the entrance to the viaduct. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go down the street and everything's flat. And right here you have the viaduct coming out again.
Wow.
Okay. And over here you have the viaduct.
Is that still like that?
Yes.
Wow. So some are still exposed. Yeah, right.
Some of it is still exposed.
And
now this is a train, but you see that you can see the viaduct right there. Now you can find this in many cities. Now I haven't done the research on, I have a list of these things, but it takes a lot of time to really get in there and do the research. You can see the viaduct entering the city here. And when you go to these roads, these entrances, you always find this kind of way of getting up onto it. And they're very tricky about how they do it. Let me see if I can find you can't see it on every road. You have to, sometimes they had hills in an area and they can hide it better than others. But see, you can see the viaduct is right, you know, going up right there. You see this hill right here? That is that's going up onto the viaduct.
yeah.
Okay, but then you get up here
Yep.
and you're straight, you're flat.
That's
Okay,
cool.
so that's the idea behind that. What we have here is this is a drop in Atlanta. That's downtown Atlanta. Modern street level is up here, and this is underneath the viaduct. And you can still it still has the steel there. Okay, and here is the what is called the Gulch area.
Yeah.
And the area I showed you earlier had the 40-foot drop in. It's underneath here. And so there's a 40-foot drop underneath this area here. And all of this, see, this whole thing here is a viaduct. This whole platform, that's all viaduct. And you can see it right here.
So that's that big area that you showed us. That's that area you showed us before on that map, the proposed plan, the big building in it. Okay. They covered the whole lot.
Correct.
Oh my gosh.
Correct.
Wow.
And if you know how to see it, once you see it, it's incredible how easy it is to find. It's just a matter of getting the right perspective.
It is, isn't it? Because it's incredible that, I mean, just looking at that, there's so many hints and places that you can clearly see it, but no one's cottoned onto it at all.
Exactly. That is a viaduct right there. This is the gulch area. This is the 40-foot area. And if you go under here is the gulch, what they consider, what the people from Atlanta call the gulch. It's their nickname for it. Okay. Let me get rid of these. Now, let's
What's
see.
a gulch? Does that mean something?
Yeah,
hole?
I can't remember what it means though. It does have a meaning. Let me kind of readjust here. Let's see. I tell you what, let me start with Google because it probably be easier to understand. Okay, get on there. All right. Bear with me, folks. Sometimes this takes a hot minute. Okay. Okie dokie. What we have here is, this is a new city. This is Cleveland, Ohio. I've confirmed it is also a viaduct city. And what you're looking at is the city center. You have the soldiers and sailors obelisk right here. And this is the big public square here. And what we have is, I realized that this is a viaduct because when they did construction on the subway, which runs underneath this area here and this area here, they exposed what they were doing. And so I was doing the research for Atlanta, and I realized that I was seeing the same phenomena here. And you'll notice you have the viaduct right here going into the city, and you can see it peaking right here. Okay. And this is the edge of the viaduct.
Yep.
This is the edge of the city, what we consider the edge of downtown Cleveland. And once you see it, once you understand and comprehend what you're seeing, it's very easy to see it. This is a major viaduct coming into the city, and they actually talk about this. Oh, the viaduct, the Cleveland Viaduct. Okay, this is what they're talking about, right? But what I'm telling you is the whole damn city is a viaduct. Okay, see how flat that is?
Yeah.
Well, they're just bringing it up to that level. And if you drop down right here, you can see the Mudflood windows. This is one of my favorite little Mudflood window places.
And then you start to get the angles. Yeah, right.
Okay, but now we get right here and we're on flat. And right here is David Rockefeller's building.
Oh.
Wait a minute. This one's David Rockefeller. Sorry. This one's David Rockefeller's building right here. And that's got the iron, cast iron facade still on there. And let's see if you go back out. Yeah, I've got catalogs with it in it. It's a good question. Let's see.
Cast iron, like electric transfer or Faraday cage. Who knows?
I have always suspected maybe it had something to do with the energy. That's a viaduct right there. Okay.
So that's called a viaduct because it continues into become a viaduct. Obviously, the bit we can see, most people would call a bridge, but it continues in and goes building to building like a viaduct.
Correct.
Is that the definition of a viaduct?
Well, I'll show you the definition. It's a little bit squirrely, but you more have to kind of get it in your mind. They're not real clear about it. One way that sometimes they say it one way, sometimes they say it another. So you really just have to understand it in your own way. If you notice here, this right here is modern day street level. The entire city is this level, and then you look right here, and look at all this under.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Oh, it's huge.
And you see that so often, you know, like freeways and train tracks and things that are at the edge of cities, and they're lower. You see it everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay, now
and the subway, that's another thing, right? So I've always wondered how the hell they built subways, but I think now I know, right? Use the old world tracks and cover them up.
I think the subway was actually the subway and the trams were part of the cover up to build the viaducts. This is Cleveland when they were building the viaducts. This is it's not the best pictures, but and I don't have great. This is a viaduct going into Cleveland. This is underneath the viaducts in Cleveland. This is literally underneath the city center. This is what it looks like, and it's abandoned now.
All right.
This is coming in with the old trolleys. This is a viaduct going into the city. This is the construction of the subway and the modern day street levels up here. And when I saw this kind of stuff, I started getting triggered as to, wait a minute, something ain't right here. This is construction of the subway. Subway. It's all subway. This is underneath the viaduct in the subway. It's all subway. It's all viaduct. Everything you're looking here is a viaduct. And you see it's the same style that you would see in Atlanta. It's just a raised platform. Nothing fancy.
And this is like the narrative, you know, sort of tries to make each city like, oh, well, yeah, you know, we just sort of did it in our city because of, you know, hills and that. But clearly it looks like it was rolled out, you know, across all cities, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think every city has this, but, you know, it's probably a lot more than I realize. This is a viaduct, and this right here, the bridge switches. This moves. See how it moves? See that?
Yeah.
That's a viaduct with a moving bridge. This is an old picture, old viaduct from West Side from Woodcut.
From Woodcut. So what year is that, do we know? Because it didn't look like the 1930s, did it?
No. I mean,
you got old.
You got horse. There's I mean, this is around the subway is down here when they're building it. The modern day street level is this, where the white starts is the modern day street level, but everything here is below the viaduct. Everything that's dark is below the viaduct. Right here would be where the viaduct would be. The modern day street level would be about right here.
Wow.
This is something. It's something to do with the viaduct, but I don't know what exactly it is. Okay, let's see. What else have I got? Let's see.
I mean,
Cincinnati, Ohio.
It just makes it's bizarre. I mean, we hear so much about all these, you know, tunnels and underground things, you know, lately. I mean, was this part of the plan? Maybe were they creating, you know, a system for themselves as part of it as well? Maybe. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But also, I was thinking all these sinkholes we see. Cincinnati.
This
like a
is another.
sinkhole that you see. I mean, actually, there's photos of Russia where the viaducts have broken and cars have fallen through them. Have you seen those?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to show too much of Cincinnati, but Cincinnati is also a viaduct city.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can see the same thing here. Now finding information about them doing this is almost next to impossible. The data is, that's why I did Atlanta, because I found the data that said, yes, we did it. Yes. Now,
so you'd think it'd be like a major engineering feat, right? And they'd be like, yay, look what we did.
You would think, I mean, you would think they would be proud of it, that it would be part of their history. This is the next one. Let's see. This is a viaduct called Holborn Viaduct in London. Here's some pictures of it. And this is just to give you an idea that there are viaducts in other places, other countries, and that, you know, this is the same. This one's very fancy, but what's interesting is this is Google Earth. Now, if I come out of this, oh, it's not going to do it. Okay, if I go, hold on, I've got the I think it's this one. Yes, this is the next street over from what you were looking at. It's the same viaduct, one street over.
So the street in the middle going the opposite way is all raised level.
Let's see if I can get out. Yep. See, the viaduct we were just looking at is right there. Okay. See it from that angle. And then that little viaduct part was right here, right in that, tucked in that corner. Now, it's hard. That's the only two places on this viaduct that I could find that were exposed. But here's the thing. What I'm trying to encourage people to do is, that are boots on the ground people, is look, I'm showing you these things exist. Now get out there and see what else is there. Because I can't see any more than I can see. But look, if this is a viaduct, okay, and these buildings go into the ground, what's right here? You follow?
Yeah.
Let's see. Now, if I've got some more. Now, in this same location, I looked on the side. This is coming away from that area out to the edge, and this is what the edge looks like. So if you're looking for the viaducts, you see that right there? Why would you build like that? Now look at the architecture right here. Seriously? That's below ground level now. This is a new, there's ground level. Wow. Why would you build like that? Okay. If you go down the river here.
Exactly right. You would.
I don't even know what's going on there.
God, that's an old city. Oh, what's that?
And so you got the viaduct coming in. This is London.
That's still London, isn't it? Wow. And it's raised straight up in town. Okay, yeah, okay, you can see it going up there.
Now this one's interesting. You see, take a real good look at what you're looking at there. Now I'm going to drop the little man down and let's see what little man can find. Okay, how weird's that, right? Okay, now if you go up and you drop little man right here, this is modern day street level.
It's a mall. Okay.
Okay. Now,
yeah.
Last night I was having a chat with Artodino, and he mentioned this right here. He said the Canton Viaduct. That's all he told me. He goes, I got one of those near me called the Canton Viaduct, right? And so that was the lead I had. So I went to look in and see what his viaduct looked like, just to, see what the lead was. And
yeah.
It was interesting. And what I was seeing was, okay, it's a railroad viaduct bridge, which is interesting. It's old world, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for, right? And so let me see if I can. Okay, this is Google pictures of that viaduct. It's pretty. Okay, it's neat. Okay, it's old world, but it's not what I'm looking for. It's not the juice,
Yeah.
This is the viaduct on Google Earth. Now it's massive, it's big, it's cool, it's neat. Okay, I like it, but it's not what I'm looking for. It's not, a viaduct that I'm interested in really getting into. So I pulled out to see, okay, what else is in the area? Okay. And when I pulled out, I took a look around, and lo and behold, Boston. So just for shits and giggles, I went to go look at Boston. And guess what?
They love doing it with freeways, don't they?
Now, Boston's a little bit different in a lot of ways, because Boston it's surrounded on three sides by water. And what my thinking is that they came in and shored up the edges of the water and built, walls, retaining walls, and then they ran viaducts to flatten out the city streets. But if you look into, I've done extensive research into this area here. This is the Beacon Hill area. This is Cheers Bar is right here. And I've looked into the Back Bay, which is right here. And I've confirmed all of this is underground, that it's mud flooded. And the official story of Boston is that most of this land that you're looking at was filled in. That it was actually water. All of this area here was water. All of this area here was water. That's the official story. But what I'm telling you is that it won't water. It was all here, and they have brought in viaducts to cover over to raise the levels to the same level. So I believe from what I'm seeing, and I just found this last night, I believe this is another viaduct. So this is new research, and I will probably have to go deeper on this. So
yeah, I mean, we've got a freeway exactly the same as that in Perth. Like it's lower, a couple of 11.5, 2 levels below and right next to the city. I'm gonna have to do some checking out of Perth.
Yeah,
I mean, I know, and I know there's definitely one down there.
The best I could find on Boston on a quick search was that they, built the subway systems and it was a big mess. So that's building the subway. But that's about the gist of the Viaduct. Oh, I do have one more thing. You'd ask a question, and I do have the answer to that. Let me share that, and that'll be that for those. This is a great little picture. A viaduct is a long bridge-like structure carrying a road or railway across a valley or other low ground. Bridges are built across rivers or arms of the sea, whereas viaducts tend to cross valleys and low-lying areas where they may or may not be a river. Rail bridges and viaducts are as old as the railway itself. Is a viaduct a bridge? A viaduct type of long bridge or series of bridges, usually supported by a series of arches or on spans between tall towers. The purpose of a viaduct is to carry a road or railway over water, a valley, or another road. So there's your kind of your definition, quote unquote. But if you notice, it's not clear. It does not really define exactly what it is. I'm call it a
if it's to do with the construction. Yeah. So I mean, but it's just like obviously we've all heard of aqueduct for carrying water, and these are viaducts to use to go via somewhere, I guess. But yeah, this is the thing. I was thinking all these sinkholes, that we see, and a lot of them are in, I've seen them in places where they don't look like they're on roads, but if these are old, a lot of these could be covered up, right? And if they give way, that they just start swallowing up everything, right? Because there's such a massive space underneath them.
Could be.
Have you seen that movie? Sinkholes. I mean, they can't explain sinkholes, and you need a space right underneath them for them to suck, and they do suck.
I've never.
Have you seen that movie, A Boy and His Dog?
Yes, good movie.
Yeah,
I love dystopic movies. Yes.
Yeah, a bit of a. It's exactly like this, right? It drops down into a whole nother world underneath the ground. So, I mean, I guess one of the big questions is, a lot of them are blocked off. I mean, are there people down there using these areas still? This is the thing, and I mean, because all you would need is a couple of buildings where they keep the entrance, the lower levels open, and we don't know what's going on down there, do we? I mean, and then they've got trains in there. I mean,
well, the trains, the area the trains go in, they have them, the sides blocked off. So when you're going through, because I've seen the train, I've seen video of the trains going underneath. You do not see sideways, and you don't see what's under there. It looks like a subway under there. They've made it look like a subway.
Yeah.
They've covered up the doors and windows and shit.
Yeah, right. So it's a definite cover up.
Oh, it's
yeah. So I mean, obviously this is just opinion, but in your opinion, when do you think this was done? Obviously, they're telling us the 30s or 20s. I mean, what do you think?
I think it was
do you
done
think that
the 43. It was all finished by 43, but when it was begun, I don't know, because personally, I believe steel is old world. I don't believe that was a newer invention.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So.
No, they had the stuff that didn't rust, and they always use the big rivets in it.
Yeah. I don't know. Now another
definitely.
Another field of research I've been doing a lot into that is different than viaducts, because they don't do the same thing in every area, and this is really important for people to study, is what is called regrades. And what they do is they go in and they
Yeah.
regrade the city. They did it in Kansas City. They did it in Seattle. They did it in San Francisco. They did it in Los Angeles. They did it in Chicago. And Chicago is also another city, I believe, possibly could be a viaduct city. And you know how they talk about raising Chicago? I don't think they raised Chicago. I think they raised the viaducts.
The street.
What makes more sense, that they built a viaduct or that they raised the buildings? Think about that. And if you look at Chicago, it's the same thing. It looks exactly like Atlanta. The bridge is coming in, and all of a sudden the ground level goes flat. So
Chicago is definitely an old world city. That's on maps going way back.
Oh yeah. The regrades are important because that is where the sluicing came in. And the sluicing, if I'm sure you know, but for the viewers, if you don't know what sluicing is where they take high pressure hoses and they fire it at the dirt and they make mud, and then they what's called sluicing the dirt down, and this mud comes down, they collect it into troughs, and then they run these troughs to wherever they want, or they put it on carts, train carts, and they haul it away and they dump it somewhere else, and they create other land. What they do is they regrade the land flat. And they did this in Kansas City, Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Chicago. And that's just a start. They did it other places, but
there's that. There's that picture that's probably everyone's seen of that church, and it's kind of sitting up, and all the ground around it is just being taken away, and it's like way up high, sort of on this bit of dirt. And they also say that was
Church of Mary
mining, don't they? Like water mining. Excuse me. Have you heard that story, like the water mining, where they used to use, and they say they had to ban them because everyone was washing all the cliffs away and stuff?
Right. Yeah. I've heard of that. Yeah. There's a name for that. I forget what the name is. I actually have a folder for that. I was doing some research on that recently. I can't remember. I get in these little rabbit holes, and I keep going. That actually sounds familiar.
I've got so many files that I haven't even.
Hydro something. Yeah, I think you're on to something there. I've got a folder with it somewhere on my computer. But that's about the gist of it. I mean, there's a lot more that can be done in that, but that's kind of the gist of what I can tell you right now. Really what it boils down to is I need, or I don't need, but we need people that are boots on the ground, like urban explorers, to get out there and go down and see what is there. But it's locked down. I don't think we've seen it because I think it's locked down. I don't think you can get in there without basically sneaking in. So
oh, that's all right. We can do that. It's our realm. I remember I was watching this video from those the explorers. I think they were cave, underground sort of more cave explorers, but they were down underneath. It was underneath London, and they were in a river, like a river, and they were 2-3 stories down under the ground in a river, and then they stopped and they got out in the little bank and the steps, and they go and they pop out this door in the middle of London. It's like, what the hell?
Oh, I'm big Urbex fan. I watch a lot of Urbex channels because those guys literally we've got the guys we call the boot, or guys and gals, but we've got the people that we call boots on the ground. But our real boots on the ground are the Urbexers, because they're getting the video underneath. And so that, you were saying that you're kind of not doing a whole lot of Mudflood research, and I'm kind of trying to look at, okay, if you're analyzing, let's say a murder, okay, and you're you're doing the autopsy, right, and the guy comes in and he gets stabbed, okay, and if he gets stabbed in the chest, right, are you going to look at his feet to determine how he died? Are you going to look at his ears? No, you're going to look at the stab wounds. You're going to look at the point of entry. And the point of entry is where the ground meets the building. Okay, so that's kind of where I've focused.
Yeah.
What is at the knife wound? And what I find is viaducts and pavement light. So
yeah, pavement lighting, which is next that we're going to get onto. So yeah, we'll see. We just jump straight into pavement lighting, which is something else you came across. I think you first found it in some of those old magazines, didn't you? But this is obviously, you know, how did they light it down there? No.
The way I found it was I was watching a documentary on the Seattle Underground, and in the documentary, it was like showing the tour of the underground there, and they showed the pavement light under there, and they mentioned them. They said that, you know, this is pavement light, and it lit the underground. And I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. And I wrote it down, wrote a note down, pavement light. And so I went back to look up pavement light, and because I thought, well, that is really fascinating. I've never heard of that. And when I went to look it up, I found a Wikipedia page and some pictures, but nothing else. Nobody had done any video on it. Nobody had done anything. Nobody had ever talked about it. There was literally no data, no mud flooders talking about it. Nobody was talking about it. And I thought, well, okay, so I guess I can make a video that will like at least explain what they are and show kind of what they are. So what I did was I took the Wikipedia audio, somebody reading that, and I put it to pictures of the pavement lights, and that was the first video I did on it, just to give people an idea. Now I've done several, I don't even know how many videos on pavement light now, but and I've got a lot more data to put out on pavement light. It's just time. I've got hundreds of videos.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And so
you were definitely the first time I'd heard about it.
Well, I didn't know I was the first. I just thought I was too dumb to find it. I just couldn't find anybody else that had done it. I thought maybe I was like searching it wrong, or you know, maybe everybody called, all the mud flooders call it something different. But then I found out that through time that nobody knew what the hell I was talking about. And so I've gone really deep into that. But I can show you, I put together some images to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I've got many, many hours of video on this, and I'm still working on more video. What this is and
of course,
go to the Wikipedia page. This is the
description.
Say it again.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I said link to Stuff Beagle channel in the description. Make sure you go across, subscribe, like, share, and all that good stuff.
Thank you. What this is a diagram of what the structure looks like. The structure it starts with the building, okay? And you have the mud flood level down here, which actually in this picture, they actually put in another level. So in this picture, there's actually a sub basement. This is pavement light as well. But for the most part, it's one level down. And this would be the original street level here, or what we call the mud flood level. Excuse me, this is mud flood level. And this would be original street level. And what they do is they come in and they dig this area out. And my thinking through my research is that the reason that they did this, they say that it's to light the basements, but I don't think that's the reason they did this. I think the reason they did this is so they could get down here and get the old windows and doors and bring them up. And what they did was they dug this area out. This area is called an areaway. That is the technical construction term for this. Then they would build a retaining wall here. Then they would build over top of this what they called a vault. And then on top of the vault and inside the vault, they would put in the pavement light, which is right here. These little suckers right here are what are called coal hole covers. And the idea with them is that they could open these up and dump the coal in. They could pull the cart up and dump right from the city street the coal down into the hole, and then the servants could come and get the coal. This is a Charlie Chaplin movie that he did called The Bank. And he is standing in front of a building that has pavement light all the way down. And here's another part of my research. This symbol right here, I call the flat earth asterisk. It actually has a architectural term, which I'm still working on. I'm not coming out with it yet because I want to get a little bit more data with it. But I actually have just recently found the actual architectural term of that symbol. But to me, this is the symbol of flat earth right here. That's a whole nother story. This is a colorized version. This is a picture of what it looked like back when they filmed the film, and this is it today. Same building. You can see the little asterisks here. Here's a diagram of what it would look like. Your street is right here. Your sidewalk is here. This is the vault. This is the building. This is the retaining wall here. Here's modern day what it would look like. These little pieces right here are filled in with concrete, but originally what they were ventilation, and they were open and they would allow air into them. And the official story of the, I believe, the Baltimore fire is that a cigarette butt was dropped on the ground. It fell through one of these, and that is what set the Great Baltimore Fire. These are modern day pavement lights that have been busted up as through time, the elements and people banging on them and things dropping on them, they break. This is glass in concrete.
Yeah.
This is pavement light being installed, and the way they would do these is they would have they're sitting over the vault, and they would put in a metal frame, and then they would lay out on the metal frame the glass prisms. Well, these ones were just rounds. They weren't actually prisms. And then they would fill this in with concrete, which you can see over here, and then they would wipe off the concrete and make it level. Here's another installation of pavement lights. These are round ones. There are very few pictures of pavement lights. These are done ones right here. This is what it looks like underneath. This is the I-beams that they sit on, that the frames sit on. And you can see these people over here watching them. Here's a modern, more of a kind of like a maybe a 40s or 50, maybe 50s, and they got pavement light over here. This is underneath pavement light. And the idea is that originally they were clear, and the light was extremely bright, and they were very effective. These are what are called prism lights. And what they would do is they would put these in the transoms, and this area above the doors and windows is called a transom. And in the transom, they would put what were called prism lights. And these prism lights actually had little prisms on the back of them, and the light would come in at an angle, and then the light would shoot back into the store. So they had the same effect as the pavement light. Now these have these openings right here that were part of the wind catcher system. Now that's a whole nother story. These are prism lights, and you notice that they're purple. These are actually called teardrop prism glass, and it was they had many designs. A lot of them were supposedly designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, and they turn purple when they solarize. And the reason they solarize is that originally, to make the glass clear, they put manganese dioxide in the glass, and over time, the sun solarized the glass and turned them purple. This is underneath pavement glass that is solarized, and you see the prisms right here. And the prisms, what would happen is they'd be flat on the top. The sun would hit it. The prism would then shoot the light under the building. Here's a gentleman standing underneath the pavement glass. These are the original pavement light. What these are called? These were designed by a gentleman named Thaddeus Hyatt around 1854. And what these were called the bullseyes, and they were round pavement glass in a metal frame, wrought iron frame. And originally he didn't have what were called the nubs, which were these, and they were very slick. And then his second generation actually came out and they had the nubs on them to make them a lot safer. And you can see 1883 written on that. And there's a patent number there.
1883.
Right,
so
but the
again,
original,
like
these originally came out.
Putting the viaducts in, if they were putting the viaducts in the 1920s, what would they need prism lighting for in the 1880s?
Well, they started between 1850 and they were put in between 1850 and 1930. Well, they're still being used today, but mainly they were using that time frame. And the history on them is kind of sketchy. So I'm not really sure exactly when all this happened. Even though we have histories, we don't know what we don't know if the histories are true. They also had
well, that as well.
You could get them customized, and you could get different types of glass in them. And these ones were the ventilators, the ones here. And then you had these, and then these would shine light directly down, but then these would shine, they had prisms on them, they would shine light at an angle. This is underneath an areaway, and you see the old world building, and over here is the retaining wall, and you've got the prism glass. They also used them in stairs.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And you can see those in the Tribeca neighborhood of New York City. Here's a diagram. You got the building, you got the areaway floor. This is all called the areaway. You got the sidewalk. The road is right here, and this is the retaining wall. This is a diagram of what you could do with it. This was an advertisement in a catalog, and you have the first floor, modern day first floor, what we call ground level. Ground level here, you got a coal hole cover here. These are pavement light, and then you can have your business underneath in the basement. Here's another diagram. The light comes in, semi-prismatic light comes in, and it angles it down. They also had these, and these would go in below the shop windows. So when you see those shop windows that have the displays in them, the cases, what they would have is they'd have, you'll notice they'll have windows underneath sometimes, and they would put prisms in them, and it would shine light in too. This is kind of a little picture of a blind man, and I have a T-shirt that says even a blind man can find the Mudflood. And here's a diagram that was done. And you've got, this is the ones that are underneath the shop displays, and then these are the prism lights on the side in the sidewalks. And this is called the vault right here, this area. Here is a Hayward catalog, and in this catalog, it's a very interesting picture because you can see coal hole covers here that actually have pavement light in them. And then these are pavement light panels here and here and here. They also sold wrought iron stairs. So that's an interesting catalog. I have that catalog. Here's a diagram. You got the coal hole covers here, the prism lights here. You can see stairs here. They also had them where you could have them in the side of the stairs. And this right here is a sub-basement pavement light.
Sub-one, yeah. Oh, hey.
Gentleman underneath the pavement light. This is
I've walked on those.
Yeah.
We've definitely got those in Australia, 100%.
They're become more and more rare. As we go, they're removing them more and more. but you can see they had different ads to explain to people how they could use them. Now, the same company sold the prism lights that went into the prism glass that went into the transoms and the pavement glass. So they were sold and manufactured by the same companies. And here's one of those weird photos where you have the dudes looking like posed, which you see all the time.
Yeah, the controllers. Yeah, well,
yeah,
you shouldn't call that. That's just,
these are up close.
It's just bizarre. Oh, they're the prisms.
This is a diagram that kind of show you how a viaduct here, and you got your subway here, and you would have your areaway here on the left and the right. These are examples of all kinds of things. Right here, you have one of the large prism glasses. These are very rare because they broke very easily. And you also notice it has a flat earth asterisk, as I call them, right here in the center. This was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. These are prism glasses, and they go in the transom. You have different form of pavement glass here. You got the prisms, the rounds. You've got the double prisms. You've got the multi prisms. These are squares. These are rounds. These are what are called deck prisms. These are where they supposedly got the idea from because they came in on the tall ships, and they got the idea. These would go in the decks of the ships, and they would let light in below deck. Oh, that was a coal hole cover right there. There's underneath the side in the area. This area right here is called this is under what's called the areaway, and this right here is called the vault. And this is in Seattle. And this is what this type of image is what got me looking into this. This is an ad. You got the coal hole cover here, the prism pavement glass here. You got prism lights in the side here. Here's a barber shop that has prism lights above. This is underground. This is underground as well. This is installation. One of the few pictures I have. You see an underground entrance right here. This is a overall picture kind of showing you a bunch of different things at one time. They also had trap doors that had pavement glass in them. You can see that there. This is the I've got a better picture of that I'll show you. This is a viaduct with pavement glass right there. This is a neat ad. If you see that the modern day street level here in the pavement glass, and then you have the basement down here. This is what would be considered under here. This is pavement glass, and so there's a sub basement. It says to illuminate sub cellar.
Ooh.
So you have the pavement light. This is street level here, and this is the areaway, and this is the vault. Okay, and the top here is called the vault. You've got another level. You have a sub basement. I've actually found sub basements before. And here's another example of ground level and then sub basement here. And you see it goes double down.
God, we just don't know how far down it goes, do we? I mean, but I mean, it's like, when have you ever known these people who like to make the rules? When have you ever known them to give away real estate?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
that's why I think it's a cover-up.
Like,
yeah,
it's a definite cover-up for something. They're doing something down there.
Definitely, no doubt. This image was taken in the Seattle Underground tour. It's an image they have on the wall to explain how they covered over Seattle. And the official story is that when they were covering over the streets of Seattle, that they raised the street level and they had the areaway open, and they put in these ladders, and people were falling and hurting themselves. But this is actually an official narrative picture in the Seattle Underground. This is
Wow.
a little store area underneath. This is a diagram of how the concreted versions go. These are later versions. The prismatic glass was the patent came out in 1871, and what it has, you have the metal frame here, and then it's got rebar here, and then you place in the glass into this metal frame, and then you fill the concrete in, and then you level off the concrete and wipe off the glass and let it dry, and that's how you install it. Now that's all the pictures I have of that. Let me show you one little bit of extraness. This is a website that I highly suggest. It's called glaciarian.org. This website has been one of the major resources for my research into pavement glass. This guy, he studies glass in all forms, but he has a wealth of knowledge on this website. He tells all about pavement glass. This right here is the original patent for pavement light right here. This is the original patent diagram for pavement light, for the vault lighting. These were very large, and they quit selling them quickly because they were very dangerous. They were so big. The person that created the actual pavement light that we know today is this guy right here, Thaddeus Hyatt, but I'm not even sure that he is actually who did it. But there is a wealth of information.
I've heard that name before. Was he supposed to invent other stuff as well? That sounds familiar, that name.
Yeah, he's somebody you should look up. He's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Oh, okay.
Very interesting fella. Now, on this site, some of the most interesting research that he has is right here under patent index. You click that, and right here you have, it shows the when the patents were released, or when the patents were filed, it shows how many were filed in each year, and then he has a list of every patent with a link to the patent for all the pavement light.
Wow. So it was big business.
It was huge money. Big business. Big business. Okay. Now he also has on here, if I can find it, he's got a let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it on this website. On this left side somewhere, he has a link. He has a page that is nothing but it's on this website. Okay, I'll promise you it's on that website. He has a page with nothing but old catalogs. And you want to talk about some fascinating reading, you'll get lost. So that is an excellent resource. I highly suggest going to that website. And he talks about other things too. Not just pavement light.
Glassy on, yeah.
So that's about the
that's
the gist.
I have questions. I have many. I mean, the whole glass thing too, like the time frame has got to be questioned too, right? Because I mean, glass was, glass factories and manufacturing sort of hit, scale, which wasn't even that big in around 1850. And so 20 years later, they're suddenly mass producing glass all over the place. It's not very long, is it?
And it was a very secret art too. Glass making was very secret. So,
it was.
I think what they did was I have hundreds of pictures of pavement lights in situ, but if you go there to most of them today, they're gone. So I have been recording these pavement lights in our historical record for years now. but you can still find them today in your cities. They're still there here and there, but they're going away because here's the problem. You in order to match them, to make them look original, you have to use the old ones. You have to use the solarized ones, and they're very rare because when they tore them out, they threw them in the dumps. And so in order to fix them, you have to basically repair them with modern day glass, and they don't look as good.
Yeah.
So they're going away, and not to mention they're dangerous. They're famous for falling through and breaking. And what happens is the glass, the concrete will get cracked, or the glass will get cracked, and then the water will seep down, and then it'll get to the metal, the steel, and it'll start rusting the steel, and then the steel will collapse, and the next thing you know, they fall in. And so what they do is they come in, they put in new I-beams, and they sidewalk over it, and they're gone. And that's happened to most of them.
Concrete, yeah.
So
wow, yeah. I mean, I've definitely seen them. I've walked on the ones in metal, the metal ones with little square bits. But they've gone white. They're not, see-through or transparent anymore. I used to always wonder what they were. And of course, all those coal chutes in Australia, they've changed them all and put the telephone company's name on them, and so they're called Telstra pits now.
Well, the coal hole covers, I've got a whole collection of coal hole. I've got hundreds of pics of those. I think people stole them because they were so cool looking. They are neat. So, and you can see those in my Pavement light videos. But they are very neat. It would take me an hour to go through those, the pictures I have of those, but they're very cool. I have thousands of pictures of Pavement lights in all forms, shapes. I have hundreds of hours of video.
Everything used to be artistic, and definitely glass making. It was an art. Now, I mean, we don't even have them. You might have, there's sort of glass blowers who are kind of artists, but the only other ones are it's called glaziers now. And they just pick up bits of glass and put them in a window frame. It's like all the art's gone, hasn't it? All the skill, there's just nothing left. I mean, that's kind of the world they've done, right? They've ripped out the heart pretty much. It's not very nice.
Yeah, nothing's the same.
No, it's just bizarre. They've literally covered the old world, and I'm sure most people watching have probably seen these, these grates in their city, which means what's underneath them. In Australia we get
light. If you see these, then there is underground. That is proof of underground.
100%,
that's what they're there,
isn't it?
100%.
We have all these old pubs, and they sort of. And they have like the doors in the side, and so there's lower levels, and they're like, oh no, that's just the basement where they used to pass the beer through, and it's like, okay, right,
that's the cover story. I think that the
lower level just so they can put beer there.
I think that prohibition,
speakeasy,
I think that the whole thing about prohibition was a cover up for the mud flood, so that they could have an excuse as to what was down there. Oh, we have speakeasies down there. Oh, we have tunnels down there. That's because of the speakeasies. I think it was all a cover up. I think the prohibition in America was cover up for the mud flood. That's an opinion. Yep.
I wonder if that's where underground crime comes from, right? All those undercover police people go down there. It's just,
and these places are still there. They're
mad. I mean,
all over the place. The speakeasies are everywhere. The tunnels are everywhere. I'm finding these tunnels. Another phenomena that's starting to happen is that we're finding these bricked up tunnels underneath city streets. They found them in Tampa and Charleston, and I believe San Francisco and other cities. And what they are is these arched tunnels that are, they think they're old sewers, but the problem is there's no record of
Yeah.
anybody building these things.
With
And what they are
the
is
brick
they're
roofs,
old,
like the brick ceilings.
yeah, they're you could stand up in them and walk, but they're old world structures underneath the ground, and they're starting to be dug up because you know, people are
Yeah.
building and they just find them, and they start tracing them, and they go for miles and miles and
Yeah.
miles. So that's another
The
phenomenon.
guy in
that's
England not long ago who was, I think, renovating his house, and went through the roof of one, and basically just like left it there and cleaned up, and he had this massive, you know, underground room like under his house. It was ridiculous. I mean, so, you know, all these old houses, right? They might be twice as big as people think. You know, you're getting ripped off when you sell them, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. The Campbell is a bar and cocktail lane. Oh, Campbell. Don't go there though, guys. They got pee. They got pee in their bar. Sorry.
Oh, so I hope that gave you a general explanation. I know it's complicated stuff, but it's okay. I thought
no, that was good. I mean, like I said, no, you will, because you had to go through it, because this is a thing. And like I said, guys, link to Stuff Beagle channel is below. Make sure you check it out, because, you know, you've got an awesome channel with heaps of really good research, you know, well researched as well. But also you've got these topics that they don't seem to have sort of gone out into the community too wide. So I think we need to do that, because, I mean, especially the viaducts, right? That's massive, right? If people start hunting around and they use the prism lighting and things to help, you know, it's a massive thing that can really help the whole boots on the ground. Of course, that's what we want, guys. We want to get out there with cameras and.
With my channel, my main problem has been that when I started this, I didn't plan on it doing what it did. That was never the intention. And over time, it has changed. And so I did not want to monetize from the beginning. And now I have started to realize that monetization is the only way to get people, to get the algorithm to promote you. Well, so that's my problem, is not being monetized. Yep.
It's a big part. I mean, and if you think about it, YouTube make money. That's their only revenue, is advertising. So why would they promote a channel where they're not going to make any money to a channel where they will make money?
When I put the Viaducts video out, in the first week, it got 7,500 views. Okay. It's been out over a year now, and it's only sitting at like 8,600 views. Because what happened is, you can look at the chart and it goes straight up, and then they clamped it, and all of a sudden it goes boom.
Yeah.
It flatlined, and it's been flatlined ever since, because they clamped it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you should see my back office, man. It's just like it's just like ridiculous. You can just see that they're messing with it. So yeah, go back and monetize them all, you know. And this is the thing, you know, you do a lot of work as well. So this whole
I've started a new channel.
You know, people who
I've started a new channel, Stuffed Beagle Light, and what I'm doing is I'm starting a new channel that is no copyright, and when I get that channel up to 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours, then I'll look into monetizing that channel. But I'm going to keep my original channel the same, because I still want to be able to do the things I've done with that channel. I've got, in order to get what my research out, I've got to go that monetization route. Just for that. It's not about the money, it's about the damn algorithm. So live and learn.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with making money either. You know, it's like, it's not like we're, you know, putting out a video once a month. You know, there's a lot of time and effort goes into having channels that are productive. You know, it's a job. And unfortunately, even though people don't seem to understand it, It's exactly. It's not. We're not talking an 8-hour job. It's like, oh my god, it just never stops. But we still need to eat, right? We still need to have a house to live in. So you know, we need to be paid. It's just that simple.
The technology costs money. You know, the internet costs money. It all costs money. It you know, the people around me are asleep and they think that I don't do anything. Like they don't see they don't see anything. They don't care what I'm doing on here. And so they kind of look at me like, you know, he don't do nothing. They don't have any idea that how many hours I put into this. And there are people like I see Ozbeast in the chest and JJ Organics, Ozbeast and JJ's my new co-host. Ozbeast rode shotgun with me on my live streams.
Oh, okay, I've seen JJ.
And so they know the hours that I put behind the scenes. They know. Yeah, JJ's my new co-host.
I mean, yeah, well, this is the thing. It's just so much. Yeah. I've seen the last couple that you did. Yeah, I think I said hello on one of them, but
and
I just listen. I don't say hello.
Yeah, I sent you that message earlier and told you about Art of Dino, and I think he would be an excellent person for you to have on your channel. I think you'd really get along with him. And I mentioned you to him, and he seemed interested in talking to you too. So reach out to him if you need his information. Let me know.
Definitely, yeah. No, you sent me. Yeah, no, you did. You sent me his email, so I'll get onto him. I was actually thinking last year sometime I was going to get onto him, but I mean, you know, this job's like. You go, yeah, that's a great idea. And 3 months later, it's like, whatever happened to that good idea I had? You know, it's like.
We just had a Wednesday night. We had a live stream with him, and it was just a pleasure having him on the live stream. He was a wonderful guest. So you will. I suggest, and you do what you want, but I suggest him for your Spiral Up channel because his art is very spiritually done, and I think that it would be a good fit for that channel. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, maybe I'll have to get him and Kelly on together. Then I'll just sit back and let them talk.
Yeah,
she's a man. Yeah, this as well. But
that would be good.
So guys, make sure you do go and sub to Stuffed Beagle and Stuffed Beagle Light. Is that right? I think
Stuffed Beagle and Stuffed Beagle Light, LITE.
Hippie Shake. I think Hippie Shake dropped the link somewhere, but if not, the link to his main channel is in mine. Go to that, and no doubt your other channel's linked to it. Get him up to 1,000 subs so we can get this out there and share this work around and have a look at it all. And another thing is you'll find one of the only interviews with John Levi on his channel, which again hasn't had that many views, really, has it, for what it is?
Well, I'll tell you. So, I'll tell you the truth is that when I did that video with John, he told me what he was going to do was he was going to put it on his Patreon. So that his Patreons, it would be an exclusive for his Patreons. And the idea being that his Patreons would be interested and they would come and support me and my work. And he never did it. He never promoted the video. He never mentioned the video. And so the video, I have one of the best interviews with John Levy and nobody knows it. That's sad.
There you go.
People
so guys, go over and check that video out. Yeah. I mean, there's only, I know Martin got him, and it took Martin about 4 months of pacing, I think, to get it. And I think that's the only other one I've seen of John. So they're very rare.
I think there's 1 to 2 more. I don't think there's more than 4, but I think there's at least 1 more. But it's rare. I mean, it's like a unicorn. I was very privileged to speak to him. It was a wonderful conversation, but if you don't if I'm nobody and you're somebody and you don't promote it, nobody sees it. I think it's like up to like 2,800 views. He's got 226,000 subscribers and only 2,800 views on that video. Come on.
That's a crime, guys. Get out there and share that video around. I mean, so yeah, I mean, like I said, there's so much good content on your main channel and no doubt on the second channel. But get across there, and I'm supporting him to get up to 1,000 so he can start getting this, you know, get monetized, get all the info out there, and jump on the Google, or sorry, the YouTube algorithm. So there we go.
And,
all right, we're going for
Campbell, you're more than welcome to come on my weekly live stream if anytime you want. I do it every Wednesday from 9 to 2 a.m.
Every Wednesday.
Yep, sure do. And also, yeah, I do it from well, actually, my weekly show is Wednesdays 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But I'm actually starting to do pop-up live streams, which are just kind of whenever the hell I feel like it. So if you want to do something sometime, I'm free to do other times too. Just I'm doing more.
Yeah, man. Now. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Of course. Just let me know. Wednesday's actually one of the days that I don't have anything booked, so I think it's the only day actually. So yeah, hit me up, man. Hit me up. And
I like the little thing you hooked me up, the text thing. So that works really cool. We've been getting back and forth on that, so that works out really good. So communicate with me.
Yeah, I know you've got to find.
That's really cool.
I actually answer that one. That's one of the ones that I answer. So don't give my name out because if I get too many, they get rid of it.
Well, I mean, you know,
get that.
There's only a handful of us out there that are colleagues of this research. So, I mean, we kind of have to support each other because we're all we got.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yep, indeed, we do. We need to build more of a community for sure. That's what we're all doing at the moment. So good that we're now in contact. And I've got Art of Dino, and I'm gonna add Paul as well, Paul Cook. So
yeah, I'm talking to
all the people.
We're working on a little something. So
little something. Awesome.
Little something.
Nice. So there's lots coming up, guys. So there you go. Thank you everyone for being with us. What have we got here? 300 of you still watching. Thanks for spending some time with us. I hope you enjoyed that one. I mean, I did. I know it's for most of you, it's probably new information. So jump across now and keep going. Give some views to the channel and share it around. Let's help beat the algorithm that way as well, right? And they can't stop you sharing. So share as much as you can. Let's get this information out there because this topic is starting to take off. I've noticed recently it's starting to gain a lot of momentum. So let's get out there and change the world view, hey?
We need more eyes, more research.
More boots on the ground.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And if you don't want to make videos, just get the footage and send it to someone who makes videos,
Yeah.
Or just put it up without your face, whatever you need to do. It's but we need the information because we're all in different cities and we're all surrounded by it. That's why this topic is so good because it's so accessible. The leads, check this city out. Where's this? Here's a viaduct.
I have a list of leads. So I keep, when people say my city, I think has this, I write it down. So nice. I keep track of this stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, well, you need to. I mean, I've just got so many notes, but my problem is getting back to them. God, too much. I need 2 PAs now. Don't have one.
Well, I've got a really good team.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah. I know you're starting to build a good team. I know. I need a bigger team. Anyone want to be on my team? But I'm notoriously hard to contact as well.
I've been very lucky to find good people to help out with what I'm doing. So I appreciate everybody's help.
It helps so much, doesn't it?
Matter of fact, right now there's one person right here. There's one person right here I'm seeing right now that I don't know if it gets enough credit, and that's Hippie Shake. She puts up with
Hippie Shake,
a lot of shit, and she deserves a lot of credit because she's she goes in and she helps all these different channels, and she doesn't get involved. She just helps. and she takes a
Yep.
lot of flack for that. So,
Yep.
you know, God bless you, Hippie, because you deserve
Exactly.
it.
Big shout out to Hippie. Yeah, you know, like before, you know, you mentioned a video, and Hippie Shake's got the link up there, you know. So this is, yeah, definitely. Thank you, Hippie
She does,
Shake.
and she does it for everybody.
Awesome
Everybody.
job. Yeah, she's. I know she mods quite a lot, and this is the thing. You know, if you don't want to make videos, there are ways to help out. You know, you can get involved. You know, in whichever way you know you feel that you can, basically. And
some people do
we'll take as much
artistic
help as we can
things.
get.
Some people do audio. Some people send videos. Some people send leads.
Sarah. Yep.
It's wonderful.
Sarah S. Ra's been doing artwork for me and for Bernie and other people. So, you know, everyone's getting out there doing their bit. We're starting to get a bit of cohesion in our little strange corner of the interwebs.
It's wonderful. I never expected it would do this. This was never my plan. I never planned this to be this.
I didn't. When I started, I just did not even understand YouTube. And I just made a video. Like, I didn't plan any. I don't know how I got here, right? But now, I mean, and it was so, you know, because I haven't been able to, you know, get a job and work properly in that because I'm not very handy at the moment. But this has pretty much got me through, right? And it wasn't planned, but when I needed, you know, a bit of money coming in, it was not that I'm making much, but it's enough to get by. So, and it's fun. I mean, who'd want a job? Once you do this, a job, right? Boring. Don't do jobs.
I do handyman work, but for my bread and butter. But this is what I really enjoy doing.
Not a 9 to 5, 40-hour. Yeah.
No.
Nah, not the way to go. So everyone jump over and help build up his new channel. And because I mean, my opinion is anyone doing this work, and that's what it is. It's work. Anyone who's putting the amount of time and effort and research and everything into these channels deserves to be paid. They just do. And if you don't think that, then, you know, go and watch another channel, basically, because, you know, we need to live, right? This whole truthers should be, you know, living in the dirt, you know, doing everything for free is a bunch of crap.
It is.
I'm monetized, and it's because it's a job to me. It's a job. And it's, like we said before, it's not a 40-hour-a-week job, is it? It's like your lifetime job. It's it. It just never stops, you know. It's so we, you know, we need to live. We need to be compensated for our work, and the more we can make, you know, of these channels, the more time we get to put into it. You know, that's how we get people from being part-time researchers to being full-time researchers, which is what Paul Cook's just done. He's decided he's not going back to his job because he's now a full-time researcher.
That's so cool.
It's so awesome, right? And that's what we need more of. So. Get out there, guys. Sub to both the BEAGS' channels, share them around, and all the other people in this community. You know, support them, and of course, you know, stay out of any of the stuff that's going on out there. There's lots of weirdness, but let's just sort of stay together and stay cohesive and take it that way instead.
And one important thing I'd like to add is that we need, as a community, to have conversations. And just because we disagree with somebody doesn't mean that we don't need to have a conversation, because when we don't communicate, people get pissed off. And when people get pissed off, people get real. And so we've got to communicate. If you disagree with somebody, get in a debate with them, have a communication with them, and work it out. You don't have to agree. But if you don't try to talk it through, it's going to get worse. So trust me on this.
Yeah. Yes. There's a little bit going on in the background as well. Exactly.
Communication is
and hello, Karen. Haven't seen you for a while. Hello. I've still got your magic gem bead things you sent me hanging up in my bus. I get so many things sent to me. Like, these people are so cool. I've got lines here. I've got copper bloody necklaces that have been made for me, and bands, and Organite, and you got one too.
Keep the
You got Organite on there. There you go. Yeah. Nice. Oh, yeah. That's a nice one. Cool.
Yeah, I have it has a flower of life on it. I don't know if you can see the flower of life on there, but it has it on there.
Yeah. No, I can see it well. Yeah, it's good.
And I've got the flower of life tattoo, of course.
Oh, okay. I saw the one on the top of your arm, but not that one. What do you got? Just a star on the top. Nice work. What's on the top? On your wrist? Just
that
the flower.
It's infinity symbols over and over again.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Nice. Matching. Ooh.
I've got the laws of the universe on my arm here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's laws of the universe.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Done in a yin yang too.
Yeah, and spiral.
Didn't know you were inked up, right?
Oh yeah. All my tattoos have spiritual meaning. I've got I don't know.
Yes.
I've got a bunch. So
lots.
When I woke up in 2008, I had no tattoos, but I wanted to permanently state some of my beliefs that I learned, and so I've got an ankh on one side and a tree of life on the other. I don't know if you can.
Tree of life, Kabbalah,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
neck tats and all, man. Woo-hoo. Nice. All righty, well there we go. It's 10 o'clock here, and it's the end of my day and my week, and I'm going to go to bed. So thanks for joining us. Definitely, shoot me a mail. I'd love to come on your show, and I think we'll definitely get you back on, and we'll maybe broach the topic of what the hell happened, right? Something happened around the 40s, so that'd be an interesting topic to cover as well. So
yeah,
I'll definitely be in touch with that one. And thank you, everyone in chat. Always more to look into. Always more.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Hope you had a good time. Please share this around. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe if you haven't already. And stay awesome. And to you all on the next upload.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Say woof again! Say woof again!
I've got one that can see.
This is my kung fu, and it is strong.
See you later.